I'm resident of Colorado for YouTube, Joel Sains, joined by my buddy Patrick McCray and my buddy Gordon Dymowski. We're here to talk some Dark Shadows, episode 1231, 1841 Parallel Time. Now, this is the episode, and the reason I chose this episode, this is the episode where we get the flashback and we find all about Brutus.
Joel, I got to tell you, 10 out of 10 on the choice. 10 out of 10.
It's a great episode. I mean, you and I talked about 1841 by episode.
Yeah.
And it took a while to get to this episid when we
were really looking for it. Is it like every episode is like, is this one coming up soon? Are we going to do this soon?
I know. And so when it finally came up, we were just both so excited. And I want to get Gordon's thoughts first. So, Gordon, what did you think of this episode? You have Keith Prentice playing a completely different character in James Forsythe. He's been playing him for a couple episodes. What did you think of his performance as James Forsythe? What did you think of Constance Collins, the sister of Brutus? And what did you think of Brutus Collins?
Okay, well, I can't believe you actually both liked this episode because I thought it was garbage.
Really?
No, I didn't.
Well, no, I'm curious to hear your reasons if you had.
No,
we're all friends.
I think first I didn't realize that Keith Prentice played Constance Collins. That was a really good makeup job. They made him look exactly like Grayson Hall. But I thought he did a good job as both Morgan and.
You lost Gordon?
He's frozen. Now it's happened to him. Would you like to make a snowman?
That usually doesn't happen to Gordon.
It happens to every talk show host once in a while.
Oh my!
Joel, while we wait, now hang on. While we wait, I've got the perfect diversion. I found this last night at a thrift store. It's called Guest Host. It's got Ed McMahon's floating head on it. So here, I'm going to give you some clues while we wait for Gordon. You try and figure out, in the fewest number of clues, who I'm interviewing. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm going to pick one from the middle. The fewer clues it takes, the closer you get to the talk show host couch and get to be the talk show host. Okay. So this is the first question to be given to this person. Do you still juggle in your spare time? Do you know who this is?
Do you still juggle?
Juggle in your spare time?
No, I don't know.
Okay. 2, does anyone refer to you by your real name, William Claude Dukenfield?
Is that the person's name?
That's the second clue.
Okay.
About who this person might be.
Okay.
On tonight's exciting round of guest host. So do you know who they are yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, 3. Our audiences think of you as one of America's greatest comedians. Does that impress you?
Now,
real name William Claude Dukenfield.
Uh-huh.
He juggles in his spare time, considered one of America's greatest comedians. He is dead, too. I'll throw that in.
Okay, he's dead. Is he actually... Now, here's a question, because the cards don't really provide a lot of context.
Well, they provide clearer and clearer clues every...
Well, is he an actual comedian, or is he an actor who...
He's an actual comedian.
Okay. So I'm rolling out. Sir, that's why I'm asking, because I can roll out people. I'm just gonna take an educated guess here with this. Okay. Robin Williams?
No. Well, okay, so your next clue, this is guest host, the Ed McMahon game, Gordon, that we're playing. So far, Jules trying to guess the identity of the person I'm interviewing. First clue, do you still juggle in your spare time? Second clue.
Steve Martin?
Nope. Good guess. Second clue, does anyone refer to you by your real name, William Claude Dukenfield?
Oh, I think I know this one.
Who is it?
W.C. Fields.
W.C. Fields is correct.
Okay, well, first I apologize for the technical glitch at my end. As I was talking about, I thought Keith Prentice did for some reason at this episode, I was getting some serious Burke Devlin vibes from James Forsythe, but that may just be me. I thought Louis Edmonds made a great Brutus, and let's see. I think all in all, it was a really good episode because it is this great melange of like supernatural possession, noir, kind of family intrigue. I think it's a really good episode. So 10 out of 10.
What did you think of the build up to this episode, Gordon? Because we get hints that it may be Brutus, and the first character who hints this is actually Gabriel. So what did you think of the build up to this episode?
I think
Waxy and yellow.
I think that it was. I think the buildup was fine. I think the hard part is that because this is the final piece of Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to say they rush through things a little quickly, but I think at this point, because they only have so many episodes, the more deliberate pace had to kind of be set aside. But again, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I think what I get most impressed by, especially by the end of Dark Shadows, for 1841, the entire arc of it, none of it feels like filler. And that's the best compliment I can give to the writers, really. I mean, because none of the episodes feel like they're pointless. And I love it for it. That is really, I give Sam Hall, I give Gordon Russell, they did a really great job of not just building this arc, obviously, but building toward this episode. And they left you guessing. They didn't tell you who it was. They made you assume a little bit. It could be this James Forsythe guy. That's all we keep hearing about. And so you're sort of, well, is it James Forsythe? But finally, we meet James Forsythe through Morgan. And I really love Keith Prentice's performance. Man, what range Keith had. I mean, just an amazing job. And he doesn't have the same, if you listen to him, he doesn't have the same voice tone that he had for Morgan. He has a completely different voice tone for the character of James Forsythe. Really, really good. I love Louis Edmonds in this episode, not only narrating it, but the fact that he displays such heelish behavior, and his sister is none the wiser to how evil he is until it's too late. Gordon, Patrick, what did you think?
I think it's a marvelous episode. I mean, what do I think specifically regarding what?
Okay, there's to both you guys. Is Constance that foolish with not realizing how evil Brutus is, or she just?
Yeah, I mean, she gets stabbed.
Yeah.
I think if she had some idea, she probably would have chosen her words a little more carefully. I think as much as anything, she's the reason why the curse gets laid, so to speak. Something had to be, but that and a Rudy Valley record. But all seriousness aside, yeah, I think it's the fact that he can't trust a Collins.
Yeah.
That it was, I mean, he knew that James and Amanda, neither of whom are real Collinses, were lost causes. It's like, whatever. And it's like, now you, Constance, all right, fine. Here's a curse. Deal with it.
Man.
It was a horse. Deal with it.
Yeah, I kind of take a different stance on it. I don't think I think she was so complicit in working with Brutus. I don't think the extent of his depravity exerted itself until she caught him in that lie about Amanda.
Oh yeah.
I don't think the fact that she was willing to go and spy on her brother's wife, and not think like, hey, wait, dude, wait a second. So I think she knew something was going up, but I think it was just she thought Brutus was a business jerk and not Brutus is an occultist who will get all stabby with his sister.
Yeah.
I think too, like with both the characters, you see Constance. It's not just Constance and Brutus. It's we hear throughout this episode that Brutus's own kids don't like him. Brutus's own sons would sell him down the river in a heartbeat. So his only real loyal friend or loyal family member even is his sister.
They refused to appear in the episode. They hated him so much.
I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I don't
shot, guys.
Yeah. See, here's the thing though, too. I don't feel you're off on that because I mean the characters themselves, they don't like him. They really hate this guy. They want to get rid of him any way possible, but he's got such power with all the money. And here's James Forsythe, who's finally willing to stand up to this guy, who's willing to expose him. And because they're too scared to do it themselves, well, James Forsythe knows, well, they'll back me because it'll give them the backbone to, well, Brutus has an answer for that, and it's murder him and murder his wife. And when you meet with Constance, once that happens, you're sort of like, okay, here's sort of Constance's test. Is she really as bad as him, or has this just been about, I truly believe my brother is misunderstood? And
I think she's just as bad as him, because if anyone who thinks that their loved one is just misunderstood you don't cooperate with them. You try to do everything to ameliorate it. She wouldn't have gone, oh, I'm going to go spy on Amanda. She would have gone to Amanda and said, hey, look, Brutus, he's a little funny in the head. He thinks you're seeing James Forsythe. And plus he's got like weird, like magic things going on. You might want to talk to him. She's not going to be like, oh, I'll follow him through. And, but it does raise, I've been thinking a lot about this kind of in terms of a hypothetical history and a hypothetical juncture point for this band of parallel time. Now stay with me because I'm going to get into the weeds. I think Joel kind of like this, but in the prime timeline, it was kind of established that Isaac Collins was the one who established the town of Collinsport, and he came in the 1890s, correct? Or am I
like the
1690s. Okay. Yeah. Now this takes place in 1680.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, the fact that we know Brutus somehow made it across the pond, and the descendants aren't talking to him, would it make sense that maybe Brutus is Isaac and Amadeus's father?
No, I don't. I personally, I don't believe so. I think we're dealing with an incredibly divergent, in fact, a incredibly divergent universe that actually comes closer together the further in time we get. The case in point, Collinwood. There's a Collinwood in 1690 something. Collinwood was still in primary time was 100 years off. So I would like to think that was the case with Brutus, but I don't know if we really have evidence of that. I get the idea that the two brothers, Isaac and Amadeus, sort of got to America on their own, and one went to New York, Amadeus, and one, Isaac, went to Collinsport, or founded Collinsport. And and the reason that Barnabas doesn't get bothered by Judah Zachary very much is that he's part of a different line. He's part of the New York line, and so that doesn't really get brought into play. No. Barnabas is part of Isaac's lineage, but Isaac's lineage ends when Amadeus's lineage comes in with Daniel, and this is in primary time and takes over. So it's why the descendants of that line are bothered, but he doesn't really care about Barnabas because Barnabas was, the son of Isaac, or the grandson or great grandson of Isaac, and your ship's bartender, and so didn't have anything to do with it.
So could he maybe hypothetically be like a lost third brother that's only born in 1840 parallel time?
Sure, I think that's the most likely thing that or he is in parallel time the sole founder of Collinsport. That maybe with some here we go, maybe with some occult help, and that is explaining why there's all the supernatural radiation around Collinsport. For primary time Collinsport, it's not even coming from their universe. It's coming from a parallel, because we have no idea what parallel time Leviathans are like, or potentially if the Leviathans just, cross the streams, if they are immune to dimensional difference.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
I don't know. Those are the weeds.
That's the thing too. Like we don't get Brutus's sons. They don't get mentioned by name in this episode, so we don't know who they are.
Manny, Mo, and Jack.
Hard Rock, Coco, and Joe.
It could be anything. That's the thing. And
Julius, Arthur, Milton, Leonard, Herbert, and Carl, affectionately known as a performer as Pinko. Pinko Marx, the sixth Marx brother.
John, Paul, George, and Ringo. There you go.
And Wilhelm Reich. He should have joined the Beatles. Can you imagine? Is it like playing an orgone accumulator with everybody else?
Okay, we know. Now, humor me. We know that there's one of them has to be Barnabas's dad, Joshua.
Well, in theory, that's Barnabas's dad.
Well,
Ben Stokes, you little devil.
Yeah.
There's a reason Naomi was insistent on keeping him around.
Hey, Naomi was bored. Joshua was off in Martinique. Ben was just there. He's a servant. What else are you going to do? There you go.
What do you think the chances are Barnabas is actually the son of that pirate who gave her the pearl necklace? Or whatever it was.
1,000%.
Yeah, definitely.
I think what a great idea.
Because how do you get, because like Joshua does not seem to be the kind of guy for nocturnal activities, so to speak.
Oh my God, that makes Ben Stokes. Or no. Oh, well, you know who Sarah's father is? Jeremiah.
Oh yeah.
Let's face it, we've seen the pants.
What if by some chance Barnabas's father is one Edward Thatch?
Exactly. Who is Edward Thatch?
Blackbeard, the real Edward Teach. I'm probably
Edward Teach. Yeah. Well, of course.
But with this episode, I really like the flashback sequence we get. It's really well done, and I love how they shoot it. You're right. You guys are right. Collinwood is around in 1680. I think that's one of the most shocking. There's a lot of shocking things about the flashback itself because we're not at the old house. We're in Collinwood.
Yeah.
And which makes sense because where was the cursed room? Collinwood. So Brutus is we got to assume he's our founding person who found Collinsport. And he's one evil, sick dude. James Forsythe confronts him. And I really love the shock of Constance discovering the bodies. And this is what causes the curse. He stabs her and he just lays the curse out. You know what? Since you betrayed me too, you were the one person who stuck by me. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could see what happened when the first person, because we don't know if after this Brutus was like telling his family, but I could see where like one of his sons comes by and, hey, you got a spare room? Oh, sure, right here. And the son goes nuts, and the wife is like, well, I slept out on the couch, and okay, yeah, we're not going in there. That's how the lottery started. Well, you've got a good 100 some years before we see between 1680 and 1841. So who knows?
You know, the lottery thing's very funny because when they first bring out the jar and they don't say what it's about, they say, well, we're going to have to use this again. It looks like a chamber pot. It's like, is there something wrong with the plumbing? What's going on, guys? Chamber pot reference, that's all.
It's too bad they didn't have a wheel. And they could have played spin the wheel, make the deal, like, WCW's Halloween Havoc. That's my wrestling reference.
Of course.
But I actually
spin the dreidel of love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and remember, for those of you watching at home, the return, the Resident of Collingwood drinking game. Every time Jewel makes a wrestling reference, you got to take a shot.
We're just going to be gone. I had a Malort experience, by the way.
Oh, you poor guy.
It was everything you said.
Yeah,
and
friends.
less, you know what I mean?
Yeah, friends do not let friends drink Malort. Except you, Jewel. You should start drinking Malort very frequently.
Wallace McBride was involved in this.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Odd things about Malort. It's awful, but subsequent ingestions of it are still awful.
Okay, I've never touched alcohol. Now, I've heard the worst beer is natural ice. So compared to natural ice, how bad is it?
It's like turpentine. It's Jewel, as a non-drinker, let's try and translate this to you, because that's what this podcast is about. When you first taste alcohol, you have a normal reaction, which is, this is terrible.
Right.
And you later sort of train yourself to pretend that it's not. Malort really takes you back. It is one of the worst tasting, intentionally manufactured products I have ever ingested.
Let me give you a little bit of background on Malort. Right now in Chicago, it's considered the hipster drink, where you that's like because I'm not a hipster. It started as being, it was only served, usually you would serve it to your hardcore alcoholics who are still at the bar at 3 a.m. You went through all the top shelf booze, then you went through your bargain basement, and it's like, I want a shot of something. You gave it to them to get them out of the bar.
Yeah. This is terrible. If you ever consider drinking for some reason, Jewel, have some Malort, and it will take you back to not wanting to drink any liquid ever again. You will look for a butter knife to scrape your tongue, and it's awful. It works, but it's awful.
Oh my god! What did you guys think of this? What's you guys' favorite scene in this episode?
Oh man, all of them. This is one, again, I can't really separate it. It's to me, really, it's the first scenes where you're in the new oldest version of Collinwood, which is so austere and cold, partly because they didn't want to pay to really over decorate a thing they're only going to use from one episode. It does have an interesting feel, though, which is it really drives home for me that Dark Shadows is a quintessentially American franchise, because the oldest we had gone back prior to that was 1790, 1795. And so we're used to kind of that, Georgian era drag as the kind of the beginning of Dark Shadows. And when you think of that sort of costume, you think of George Washington, and it kind of all falls into place. That this is it visually reads as American. I think when you're dealing with the sort of Walter Raleigh collars and the pointed merkins that they're wearing on their faces and so on and so forth, at that point, it really feels off. It's not bad, but it's like it feels like something primally wrong is with the universe, that we have gone back to a time before Dark Shadows should exist. And that alienness actually works in its favor. That's my non-answer to your question. Sorry.
Gord?
I mean, it's all good, but I would have to say the very end, where the Ghost of Brutus comes up and says, "Oh, hey, you think you want you think that the curse is over? No, the curse is still in effect, because it's kind of like it's basically saying, hey, I won, so just give up right now."
Yeah. Wow, ghost on ghost action.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, this is
Stay away from me. Stay away.
Yeah, this is a Brutus episode for sure. He's spiking the ball in the end zone. He's declaring victory, and in every way he should be. But I really like the fact that he's the first real Collins to curse the family. He's one of their own. It's always been an outsider, and you have Bramwell, who, though he's a Collins, he's very much an outsider, and so is Catherine. And they're going to be the ones who break this curse. Really, really, really great episode, and a really great way to finally pay off who set the curse. They've been building, teasing, but not taunting the audience. And the writers were very smart in doing it.
I agree. It is, again, Gordon, this is a theme you've been talking about for a while, that people who kind of get off the bus a little too early with Dark Shadows miss some of the best stuff.
Yeah.
And this is just, in the Sturgeon's law of Dark Shadows, 120 episodes are good. 120 episodes are really, really, really the gold. And this is, I would say, probably in the top 20 of that 120.
And you know what the writers of this episode did not do? Drink Malort.
They certainly did not. It's still in my system.
Yeah, Gordon Russell wrote this episode. Leela Swift directed it.
God, Gordon. I wonder if he had to wrestle Sam to get this one, or if Sam was just like, I'm overloaded. Fine, Gordo, take it. One or the other. Those guys.
Is there anything you guys want to add about episode 1231 before we get?
No, I think it's this is fantastic.
Yeah, let's go watch Dark Shadows beyond 1225. Keep going. Go past that point.
Oh yeah, I mean, you only have like 20 episodes left,
right? And I think
you might as well, dig it.
I really think if fans give 1841 Parallel Time a shot, I really think they'll enjoy it. It's really, really a fun ride. And it is very, very... Dark Shadows has always been adult storytelling. I would dare say 1841 is the most adult they go. And I mean, it's heavy. You know, I love where 1897, we find out Quentin lost a kid. That was very gut-wrenching. But the way Daphne gets treated and dies in this is like, damn.
Yeah, but she later became a nurse who worked with 3 cops. So what do you?
Yeah, there's that.
It's a Rookies reference, people. It's a 70s TV show. Just go with the Rookies. It's not the one with the guy from Firefly. It's, trust me, the Rookies. It existed.
Yeah, plus she was one of Charlie's Angels. Hey, you know. Oh my God, Kate Jackson. All right, guys. Links to Gordon Dymowski's Amazon page is going to be in the description box. Links to both Dark.
Jewel, you've been watching a lot of Scarecrow and Mrs. King, haven't you?
No.
That's a great theme song. I think that was Dennis McCarthy wrote that theme song.
Well, I was thinking, since Jewel's going off on Kate Jackson, I figured, you know, he's probably catching the interplay between her and Bruce Boxleitner.
It's good interplay. By the way, the animated Babylon 5 movie is really good.
Okay.
Is it?
Man. It's great. Yeah, it just came out this week. And the guest voices that they got really, really, really evoke the originals. Jewel, I'm telling you, I know I'm always recommending stuff. The 2 things I recommend most right now for you are Babylon 5, starting season 3, and then catch up on the other seasons later. I know that puts me in trouble. Along with an episode before that called Babylon Squared. You'd really like it. And I, Claudius. 13 episodes, I think. And best TV series ever made, bar none.
I had to.
So shall ye sniff.
I had to record the season finale of Dark Winds tonight, so I got to watch that.
Do you experience dark winds often? Have you told your doctor?
Yeah, and let me also recommend Justified City Primeval.
I've seen the original Justified series. So, this episode, complete straight 10, proves 1841 is worth it. Every episode does, really. But go check out Gordon Dymowski's Amazon page and the Dark Shadows Daybook audio. The Dark Shadows Daybook Unbound audio will be in the description box as well. Patrick, I'll see you tomorrow night for In the Heat of the Night, and then Tuesday we'll do wrestling.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. What are we going to watch? Anyway, I'll talk to you later.